Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to episode 53 in Be With Me. I'm going to title today something like Having the Same Care as God. We're in chapter 12 of 1 Corinthians. And traditionally, this has been a passage where people turn to sort of dissect the spiritual gifts because they're listed here. However, as we read this passage today, I want to turn our eye towards that this is not essentially about spiritual gifts. It's best done in a bigger context. That is, this is God demonstrating himself in a particular way by a whole bunch of gifts. But it's showing, back up from the gifts, it's showing his provision and his care and his arranging and his appointing and his composing the body of Christ. And then he charges us, he's saying, I have cared for the body of Christ in this particular way. Therefore, why? So that we'd have the same care. So he's going to talk about unity and suffering and honoring and eventually about caring. But the idea is we are supposed to be like God in this and use all these things to show care for the body of Christ. So here we go. This is from 1 Corinthians chapter 12. I'm going to start in verse 24 and a half or so. And this is... But God has so composed the body, giving greater honor to the part that lacked it, so that there be no division in the body, but that the members may have the same care for one another. That's the big part. If one member suffers, all suffer together. If one member is honored, all rejoice together. Now you who are the body of Christ and individually members of it, and God has appointed in the church first apostles, second prophets, third teachers, then miracles, then gifts of healing, helping, administrating, and various kinds of tongues. Are all apostles? Are all prophets? Are all teachers? Do all work miracles? Do all possess the gift of healing? Do all speak with tongues? Do all interpret? But earnestly desire the higher gifts, and I will show you a still more excellent way. And he's going to launch into one of the most famous chapters in the Bible, 1 Corinthians chapter 13, which is all about love. But before he gets there, so why is he doing all this? Because these characteristics are supposed to define the body of Christ. So here we go. So does unity characterize your participation with the body of Christ? Or let's ask it very practically. What one thing could you do that would demonstrate unity and support oneness in your body? Are you a unifying force in your body of Christ? Maybe it's giving, maybe it's serving, maybe it's encouraging, maybe it's taking your pastor priest to lunch. All right, so secondly, thing that's mentioned is suffering. Does suffering characterize your body? Of course it does. There's suffering because there's people. And then here's the thing. Do you know it? Are you together enough that you know when somebody's suffering? So first of all is learning about it. Then the second part is leaning in. Are you a suffering bearer? Do you meet people in their suffering? These are characteristics that God showed us and we're supposed to be showing in the body of Christ. Thirdly, honoring. Does honoring characterize your participation? So what is honorable? Philippians 4:8 gives a whole list, and at the end it says, think on these things. So there's an active part of it is, who should I be honoring? What should I be honoring about? Did somebody graduate or have a baby or an anniversary or get married or retire or have some sort of a marker? And if you can't think of it in them, think about their kids. Did they do something fantastic? And then be thoughtful and planning and strategic about it. You got to know these people first, and then you got to think about how to honor them. All right, so why are we supposed to be doing this? Again, it says here that God appointed, he composed, he arranged, and he gave honor in his body. Why does God care so much? He tells us that is so that the members may have the same care for each other. So the point of the passage isn't who has the greatest gift or even necessarily what the gifts are, because everybody has a great gift. Everybody has something appointed and composed by God. And every person should be able to say, I'm uniquely supplied and I have something to give, I have something to care, and I should be bringing my care to the body with my whole self. Why? Because God did it. He demonstrates this, and it's a godly characteristic, and we should be following his lead, if you will. So he says, earnestly desire the higher gifts. He's going to talk about that. We'll talk about that tomorrow, which is going to be love. But all these are just like junior versions of love. All right. So let's talk very, very practically. Is who are those in your body that you care for? What are their names? What specifically can we do to show care? In what particular way? So if I ask somebody in your world, did you feel cared for practically by this person, that your name would actually come up? So do they know that these are not pie in the sky, oh, I care for you theoretically. No, this is care with boots on. Act in a way that someone knows that you care. And you be able to say, who is that person that I cared for? It's a very active thing. So maybe it's to verbalize your care. Maybe it's to spend time with. Maybe it's to use the written word. Maybe it's to use the food or meal times. Or maybe it's sharing grief, suffering. Maybe it's honoring. Maybe it's demonstrating a unifying activity. So when God appointed and composed and arranged and gave honor, he obviously thought about it. He planned it. He strategized about it. And what this passage is saying is he wants us to use the same care for one another. Here it is. There's verse 25, 1 Corinthians 12:25. But that the members may have the same care for one another. And it's demonstrated in honoring, it's demonstrated in unity, it's demonstrated in suffering, and especially it's demonstrated as care. He's saying, have the same care as God. It's a high charge today. And let's think really, really practical. So it starts with thinking, it starts with the name, and then it starts with some sort of an activity. So purpose today to show God's care by unity or bearing with suffering, grieving together, honoring, and especially by caring in a practical way, by the written word, maybe by food, maybe by sharing grief, spending time, verbalizing care in the body of Christ. Thanks for listening.